Hello everyone, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day so far. Welcome to another video. This is the What's Up August 2024 video. I usually use these kind of videos to talk about what I've been working on, what I'm planning to work on. They work as report for my Patreon supporters to let them know where their investment is being funneled to, what I'm investing my time in exchange for their money. I'm a sort of full-time content creator. I'm saying sort of full-time because I have a few other things that I get royalties from, but they're very meager. So my main source of income is Patreon, pretty much. That helps pay the bills on the things that I have to pay to survive, and also finance any additional stuff like buying new equipment that I might need or traveling to some event. I rely on my Patreon income for that. So this serves as an expose of what I've been working on. Also helps me structure things a little bit. What I've been focusing more on, what I'm planning to focus more on. And I haven't done a few of these videos in a while, and there's a very good reason for that. I usually try to do them monthly, but since I ramped up the periodicity for the Demoscene report videos, I sort of stopped having so much time to do other kinds of video content. So that was mostly a direct effect of that. I could have still recorded them, but it would just be piling up on more stuff that I already had to do when they weren't that important. I mean, they are important and relevant to do, but they're not like essential for the channel to grow and the Patreon supporters to be happy. I think most of my Patreon supporters, they follow the Demoscene report, and that's their main source. They don't really care that much about the other stuff. I might be wrong. I don't know. Let me know on the comments here. Feel free to, if you're a Patreon supporter, please let me know what you think about this. But others do find it interesting, and it also helps me structure my my things as well a little better to divide what I've been doing on, because I'm usually active on multiple areas at the same time, doing some stuff that's just interesting for me and doing some stuff that has more of a community interest overall. That it usually is what gets the financial incentive from a patronage scenario. So what I've been doing in August, Demoscene, been doing a lot of Demoscene stuff, not doing creative per se, but doing a lot of content creation for the Demoscene. The weekly video reports, as I already mentioned, I switched them to a weekly format because the monthly format felt like way too big, and I was chopping them into half a month, but then the part 2 was always a bit ignored by people. People mostly focused on part 1. So I ended up deciding to give it a try to just do it on a weekly basis. I changed a few things, not that many. I still go through the entire week just looking for random links of things that might be related to the demo scene. Then throughout the weekend, usually there are some demo parties happening, and those are the things that take a little bit more work to prepare. I need to make sure that all of the releases have proper screenshots and stuff like that. Luckily, there are already a couple of people who help on Demozoo to make sure that the results are immediately available there. Whenever the releases are uploaded to scene.org, we match them directly on Demozoo. We try to capture as many screenshots as we can. And usually my work schedule is on Friday, sometimes even Thursday night. Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I try to do the TIC 80 background effect, so I don't have to be doing it last minute. So I try to do something like that. Sometimes Sule sends me something, sometimes Super Rogue sends me something. If you have a background effect that I could use on an upcoming Demoscene report, send it to me and I'll gladly use it. It's one thing off my to-do list. So I try to get that done with the week before. And then the weekend happens with some demo party happening, and I try to follow as best as I can if there's a video or a live stream of that. So I have some insight on the productions that are released already. And when I miss it or there's no video available, I try to look for the YouTube videos of the releases afterwards, or try to run them on machine if I can run them. Some platforms I just can't run them. I don't have the platform to run them on. So yeah, usually on Monday, I reserve Monday usually for the Netlabel thing, because I run a Netlabel, Enough Records, which has actively new things coming out. So every week, at least Monday, I try to reserve for doing Netlabel stuff, like going through all of the emails that I still haven't answered, listening to some new demos, giving feedback on that, contacting people if there's like missing a cover or missing a change to push the release forward, uploading everything to all the servers that need to be uploaded. If there's anything wrong, fix that. That is wrong, etc., etc. Record the monthly radio show, because I do a monthly radio show as well, which is also part of my Patreon. So usually Monday is reserved for that and not Demoscene stuff. But usually at the end of Monday, I start looking at what I need to prepare for Tuesday. Because on Tuesday is usually the day where I record the Demoscene report. So I need to make sure to go through all of the latest parties, make sure if the results are already available, if the releases are already available. If they're not, try to ping someone on Discord or send an email asking the organizer what's up. And then either on Monday afternoon, Monday night, or Tuesday morning, try to get the screenshots and try to get some help from people who are actively on Demozoo to also help me with the rest of the screenshots. So the parties that are already on Tuesday to be recorded, if they have all the screenshots ready, sorry, I hit the microphone. If they have all the screenshots ready, I already include them on the preparation. If they don't, I try to leave them for next week. That's pretty much the modus operandi so far. It seems to be working okay. Maybe I could use a few more days, because right after the weekend, organizers don't immediately upload the releases. Most of them don't upload the releases. Most of them don't even upload the results. A lot of demo parties still go in the premise of the parties for the people who go there and not for the people who are watching remotely. Which I don't personally agree with that stance, but it's their prerogative if they want to make it more exclusive to their visitors. As an outsider who can't usually travel to those parties, I regret that, and I just don't pay as much attention to the party and the releases of the party. It's their decision, it's their downfall. So I try to cover the ones that are publicly available as much as possible. Make sure that the screenshots are available before I talk about them. Using that Demozoo view that I usually have, I have a few user scripts to help me do a few things there, not just add screenshots faster and run productions faster, but also run productions so that I can see them and capture them or capture the screenshot of them. But also to present them, I have a few user scripts that I click and it goes into a slideshow mode of the thing that helps me present what happened in the competition a bit more seamlessly. So yeah, it's mostly the work that I do for the Demoscene weekly report. And then I schedule it for release on Wednesday afternoon, and on Wednesday night, after I put the kid to bed, I spam it on all the different social networks that have not been spammed. Sometimes some people help me. They see that it's already out, because I put it on Premiere, usually at 6:30 every Wednesday. If people haven't spread it around the different social networks, I do that job, go through every single one of them. I have a list of all the things that I usually check, and I spam there that the new episode is released, and hopefully get a few views. Reply to all the comments that I might get or might not get. And yeah, in terms of numbers, there's been a slow growth every single one, so I think that's good. So been getting numbers for the weekly report as big as I used to have for the main months, like on revision month. Would get like 600 views. I'm getting numbers slightly lower than that, but similar to that, which is good. Comparing that a few months, I had like 300 views, which is not that much. So I'm happy in terms of the numbers that I've been getting. Of course, I would always love for it to keep growing, keep having more people interested. There's still a lot of Demosceners that don't even know about the weekly report, they don't see it. or they see it like one every 5 or something like that. And that's fine. If that's a prerogative, that's fine. And I have some experience with this from doing demo journal like 20 years back, so I know that not everyone is gonna follow it, and I can't assume that everyone will. The only thing that I can do is keep doing it as professional as I can, and keep asking people to share it with people who might be interested. One thing that has been good is that since I have been regularly putting it out on the same date every single week, the YouTube algorithm picked it up and starts suggesting it to random people outside the demo scene, which is really good in terms of outreach. Got a few comments of, I don't know what the hell this is, but I found it interesting. And that's really good. I really like that. I have a problem where I don't know to what degree I should be explaining more the basics, and which I should be assuming that people already know. So it's a bit hard to find the gray line in that. So I have some difficulties on that. But overall, I try to put everything linked on the description, and it seems to be working for the most part. That was the thing that people asked the most when it was missing. But yeah, if you have any feedback on how I could improve the weekly format, by all means, please let me know on the comments below. Anyways, other things that I've been working on besides the weekly report. So this is usually 2-3 days of my week gone just on the Demoscene weekly report. Then I've been working on the website for Inertia Demo Party 2024 because we don't have one. Our designer disappeared, went into hibernation. So I took the website from Nova Demo Party and been adapting it to Inertia Demo Party. So I thought I could get that done in like a week. It's been like 2 months now, and I'm still chipping away at it, like turning walls of text into something easily digestible, trying to look at it from a person who never seen Demoscene before and try to explain the things there. So not use nomenclature like compo and without explaining that it's a competition and the things like that. But then it's too much text explaining all of that. So there needs to be like a sort of equilibrium there. And it's hard to have a single target audience. One thing that I learned about marketing and image and things like that, which I hate doing, is that you should know your target audience. So once you know what's your target audience, it's a lot easier to talk to them. So I have a difficulty with the Inertia Demo Party website to know, am I talking to veteran demo sceners or am I talking to completely new people who just stumbled upon this digital arts festival that we're organizing, which happens to be a demo party. So it's hard to make that thing fit. So I'm finding a halfway ground, which is always a compromise, which means that I'll get shit from both sides. It is what it is. The alternative would be to make 2 websites. Fuck that shit. I'm too old for that. I don't even want to be making 1 website. I hate making websites. I'm just doing it because someone needs to do it. It needs to happen during the summer, which is the peak time for Demoscene parties happening. This is where most people will go to a demo party, talk about the Demoscene, and think about what other demo parties could I visit throughout the year until next year. And during that period, I want them to know about Inertia Demo Party and consider coming to Inertia in December. That's the main point of having things. So I need the website to be up during the summer. It's already up. That's good. We haven't really spammed it around yet, but it's already up for the most part. I want to revise a few things from some feedback that I got, from some ideas that I got. Try to revise it a few more times and then translate everything, which Genio already offered to do. And I told him maybe wait another week or 2 until it's more fixed already. Because one of the things that sucks about translating is that once you translate it, then if you change something on the original, you have to change something in the translation as well. So you're doing double the work for everything. So when you're translating something, it's best for you to wait until it's something that's completely finished, already sent out, and then you start working on the translation process. Anyways, that's what I've been working on. Quite a few evenings of my life fucking hate doing websites, so that's been quite painful to do every single of those sessions, but it's looking all right. It's viewable. There are some issues in mobile view and stuff like that. We don't have an image for this year yet. I just took a photo of last year's thing. Harvest was supposed to do the image for this year. He did flyer thing, and then he stopped responding to Discord messages. So I don't know what's up with that. Keep pinging him every few weeks, still haven't heard back, so I don't know. So yeah. Meanwhile, 4 months until the Inercia Demo Party, we did the first organizing meetup. We got a few members to join the organization crew, which is cool. We need to start pushing more on communication. I want to push the communication now that the website is live, push communication that we're looking for new organizers to join soon before it's right in front of the thing. And the main speed up will be actually in September when people return from holidays, trying to nail down the things that are missing, mostly sponsorships and stuff like that. The schedule is still a bit iffy as well. We have the basics down, but still have to discuss them and iron out some details on that. Yeah, and there's some logistical stuff that doesn't really matter for this video. But yeah, if you're watching this and are interested in helping organize the Inercia Demo Party, please contact me or contact us on the CNPT Discord, and we would very much love to have more people involved. You don't need to be a veteran in the demo scene. We can train you in, and you don't need to be an expert in the area that you want to help with. If you want to learn more about, I don't know, controlling lights or doing live stream stuff, we can train you with the basics of it and give you autonomy so that you can help out, even if it's just for a little while during the party, not the entire party. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, do let us know. We'll do a formal post about that soon. More stuff. Demo parties usually have invitations. I asked a few people to do some, and of course, people ended up not doing them. So I got into asking, let's try to restart this from scratch. So I tried to ask a few Portuguese people to do it. I commissioned 2 people to do it. Both of them ended up not being able to do it for reasons. So I ended up asking Navis of Andromeda Software Development if he wants to do something quickly for it. So we've been working on something for that, probably targeting deadline, but we don't know yet. Deadline, the demo party, happening in October. The demo is pretty much in a finishable state, but I'm not traveling to any parties this summer. He wasn't traveling to any parties this summer, so deadline felt a bit more secure, that we didn't have to rush the demo as much. So yeah, working on that. We already have a preview, been sending back and forth a few versions of the soundtrack, so I've been doing some music again just for that. It's mostly remixing an old track of mine, trying to make it shorter, longer, fit a bit better into the idea, the concept, and giving some feedback. So it's coming along nicely. I like what we have so far. Let's see how the final works out, but I think it will turn out pretty good. So yeah. Hard to mix an image into an invitation when we don't have the image of the party. Maybe the image of the party will end up the same image as the invitation. I don't know yet. We did have a theme which was supposed to be freedom for the party, but I don't see how it's being applied to any of the things that we've been doing. So, okay, great, we have a theme. So yeah, other than that, we also have the monthly meetings, which are the momentum events which we've been organizing. And I was supposed to be hands off from that, but I ended up being one of the main organizers of those things because people don't have time and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to make sure that we have them every single month this year, that I'm the main organizer of Inercia, because I think it's important that we have them regularly. If we are announcing that we are supposed to have them regularly, we should deliver. So I've been pushing for that, which is good. And we've been getting a few new people in every month. Interested. Some already joined the organizing team for Inercia. Others are just interested in what the demo scene is and happy that it's active and interested in going to the party. That's all really cool. Also helps motivate people to start working on their entries now and not 1 month before the party. So we've been organizing a few. Most of them have been around the Lisbon area here in Almada. And the next one we're planning to organize in Porto on the 31st of August. Gino still has to confirm a place. Gino can't confirm the place with the place that we have in mind. We can find some plan B also in Porto/Gaia on some cafe or something like that. But the idea is that we do it in Porto next month. Other things that I've been working on this past couple of months, I had this idea that I already talked about on a few videos before of getting a space to make a Demoscene museum out of, finding a location for that, getting rent-free so that we can use it to both develop installations explaining what the Demoscene is and contextualizing what the Demoscene is, but also use it as a base camp for organizing workshops and meetups, not just Demoscene, but all sorts of creative things, creative writing, creative drawing, game development, coder dojos, repair cafes, all those kind of activities. There is no hackerspace here in Almada right now. There was one Oda hackerspace more focused around making, but it closed down because the rent was too high for him to cover. So there's like a bit of a vacuum right now, but and I'm trying to fill it, but there are no locations available right now. I talked with some contacts at the city hall that tell me no, there are too many other associations that have been here a very long time that don't have a place. They're looking for a new place to set up shop and they can't find anything. City hall doesn't have enough places to offer them, or they're not ready yet, or they need to have some repairs or something like that. So it's really hard. In terms of museums, also city museums have been closing, not opening, so they clearly don't have budget for that, or they want to consolidate everything into a single place that's easier or more effective to manage. So that seems to have been the trend. I don't have direct contact with the people organizing that, so it's only through second party people. But yeah, I try to contact a place that does like startups and propose like, okay, we have an experimental project of 1 year to try to set up the museum and look for investment on how we could finance the museum in long term. And if you give us the place rent free for 1 year, we can try to apply for different things, different support things, both national and international and at the European level to that help finance museums in some way. And I have no experience in running a museum, so I don't know what's available, what's not. That's something that I would need to learn. I have a vision for the space. I know what it could be. I know the importance that it could have, the benefits that it would bring, but it's very costly to run it without a space that is free. Even without the space being free, it would already be costly. But if we have to pay like rent of anything higher than 200, 300 euros, it's impossible to finance. Something to 200, 300 euros, maybe with some inercia associates special status of some sort, we could increase and divide the rent through the different associates of inercia, to, I don't know, giving them access to the place for them to develop projects or stuff like that. But more than that, it's impossible. We will need to be targeting on making money. And that's not the point of the project. The project is not to make money. The project is to showcase the Demoscene and promote digital workshop creative stuff. So not sell products to people or services to people. So yeah, it's complicated. If you're in Portugal and you know a bit more about this area and are interested in promoting digital art in Portugal, please get in touch. Associação Inercia is trying to make that happen. And we have some difficulties, and I've been the one pushing that. So I wrote a few proposals, and I spent some some afternoons of my life, meeting with people, talking about stuff, writing the proposal, submitting the proposal, doing follow-up with emails and stuff like that. But so far, haven't managed to find a place to do that yet. More stuff. I also been doing some work on Demozoo, trying to reach Pouet parity. So my main strife with Demozoo is that it doesn't have all of the Demoscene productions yet. There are a lot of holes still missing there, mostly on the PC scene and Commodore 64 scene. So I've been trying to reach the parity that Pouet has. So I've been actively doing every single day, 1 hour or 2 hours of just going through all of the productions of the group one by one. Every single group that is on Demozoo, I go to Pouet and check and try to add everything that is missing. So I've been doing that slowly for almost a year now. And I did a few live streams showing that process. I'm almost reaching the parity in terms of groups that have stuff on both Demozoo and Pouet. They are not matched. There are also another list of groups that have no items on Demozoo whatsoever and have some on Pouet. So the list has gone down from 700 groups to like 30 groups, but it's not the real counting of groups. And I've been attacking that other list as well, and a few other lists that I came up with. I did a few queries to try to get some stuff that would not be obvious at first regard, and I've been attacking those things. And I only reached like the letter C so far, so it's still very far away from being finished. But sometimes when I feel I sometimes do just like an hour or two of that offline, and sometimes when I feel more talkative or showing the process, I sometimes do a live stream of that as well. And I've been doing a few of them as well. Only a couple people show up, but you know, I have someone to talk with while I'm doing the thing, so it's not as boring. Still a bit boring, but not as much. So yeah, I've been doing that work because someone needs to do it, and I find a lot of things that are just wrong, either on Pouet because no one ever updated it, or on Demozoo, or on Janeway, or on CSDB, and I try to fix them as best as I can. Don't fix everything, but I try to make the database a little bit better throughout the place. So I invest a lot of hours of my time on that as well. Other things, enough records, as I mentioned, every single week I try to keep Monday for enough records specifically. On the last couple of months, there were a few highlights that took a little bit more time than usual. There was the Netlabel Day that happens every single year on July, 14th of July, if I'm not mistaken. So I did a special mixtape for that, promoting it, reaching out to people. Also, there were a bunch of new releases also coming out. We have at least 3 new ones coming out, including one right today. I still have to push out. Already did most of the uploads, but still have to do the promotion work of it, which is always boring like hell, but needs to be done. So yeah, so listening to those, giving feedback, hunting down cover artwork if need be, things like that. I also pushed out Privacidade 404, which was the text thing that I wrote about the right to privacy, with some speculative fiction short stories that I had written. I'm currently in the process of doing the translation for that. I tried this AI service called DeepL, which wasn't actually that bad. It had a few mistakes. So now I'm revising the DeepL translation to make sure that it matches what I was originally envisioning, having the translated and the original version side by side, and try to rework some things. And the issue that I was talking about, the inercia website, has popped up. Like a few things that I want to change now, but I can't because I'm supposed to be truthful to the original. And some things on the original just feel a bit off, like it could be a bit more polished or written differently in some ways. So it's complicated, but I think I'm pretty much done with the first revision. I want to do another pass through and see if the writing on some paragraphs are a bit weird, if it can still be fixed to the overall vision that I originally had for the narrator. So yeah, And another of the things that I wanted to do for Privacy 404, the English version of Privacidade 404, would be to reach out to a few people to try to get like a blurb or some support in terms of social media. So it's not just released and then a couple people read it and then it comes to nothing. I want more eyes on it somehow. And I'm still new to the ebook publishing world, and it is a world of its own. I know how to transform it into the multiple things. I know how to put it on the different platforms. But I still don't have the network of communication to promote it properly. So it's just out, but it's not promoted. And when you reach that part of promoting, it's the same thing as with music. You start competing against the labels that do it commercially for profit and that actually have a budget for promoting. They actually have a designer for those things and doing little different versions of screenshots and little blurbs of different things, different summaries. So either you do all of those or you just do the minimums, and they sometimes already have a long network of contacts, or they are focused on specific genre and have contacts or reviewers of that specific genre already lined up, and on a label that is completely indie that just releases whatever they feel is interesting to release, it's a bit harder to do that network because you're constantly changing genre and changing interests of people. So it's harder to reach out to a reviewer because you won't know them. You won't have a relationship with them. So it's harder to convince them to review your new book when it's either something that they are not comfortable with or you have never talked with them before. And it's impossible for one person to keep contacts with people from all different kind of publishing. So it needs to go back into it. How can I say this? Being an indie is very fun and liberating in terms of you get to decide what you can pull out, what you can put out. But it also comes as a cost. Either you're very focused on a specific niche genre, and you know the people who you can contact to help you network, snowball the release, the announcement of the release, the press release of the release, or you are doomed to not have many eyes on you. And it was the original purpose of a label was to have more eyes and have a consistency of quality. And nowadays it switched a lot where the authors directly can already do that, and there's an overflow of authors doing that at an indie level as well. And they have a little bit of an advantage because an author usually sticks within the same genre, and they can create social connections with the different reviewers that usually like to read their stuff, so they can send them you end up with a short list of people who you can send your new book and they will say something favorable about it. Whereas if you are a label that is open to everything, you don't have that. So I would need multiple people interested in different genres doing that communication for everything, and I don't have that because I'm a one-man show running the label for both the music and the book stuff. And I like reading, but I don't read like a ridiculous amount of things, so I don't socially read. I know some people on the booktube scene or the bookstagram scene, mostly because my wife is more into that and she does the social connection on that front, but that they might not share the genre connection with what I know. So I don't know anyone on the booktube scene that is interested in the right to privacy, for example. So who am I sending the book to, to be able to promote it? Like people who read about fantasy, people who like science, who I know like science fiction, because I also like science fiction, and I know a few of those people. Maybe, I don't know. I will send the book anyways. I want it to be read regardless of things. But my point is, you need to build this network, and it's hard to build that network when you are an indie label operating alone. And in that regard, being an indie artist is easier because you're doing the work for yourself, so you're more self-motivated. Although some artists hate that part. I also hate doing that as a label, but it feels like as a responsibility as a label owner that I have to keep promoting the old work in the bare minimum, still making it available for people to download and read or listen, and try to spam it as much as possible. If I see someone interested talking about this specific book, and I know it from my catalog, book or music, and I know it from my catalog, I plug it in some way, shape, or form. So that's my job as a label owner. I have to do that, and I wish I had more people helping me on the label to do that. A few people who helped, who are helping hands, like Nelson helps me a lot with that. Like whenever he sees something, he knows the Enough Records catalog and he tries to plug it a little bit. So there are a few people who help it. Sometimes the artists themselves also plug Enough Records a little bit, but it always feels like I'm the only person who really knows the full catalog. And even myself, sometimes I forget some things that we released 20 years ago. And this brings me back to another point of something that I've been working on, which is to make a book with stories about the 25 years of Enough Records. So Enough Records, the Netlabel that I've been running, is doing its 25 years. We started in the year 2000 as a pirate online radio, or 2001, something like that. In 2002, we relaunched our catalog. We already had some releases available for download, but they didn't have like an official catalog. So in 2002, in January 2002, we relaunched our website and had proper listings where people could download, and it became more permanent as a net label. But we were already active doing that work in 2001, as far as I can recall, because now it's all a blur to me. So yeah, what I want to do is to write, and inspired by what Disco did for their 30th anniversary, something like that. They did a book talking about the history of disco records. I read the book, I liked the book, and I thought I could do something similar but different for Enough Records, and talk about different stories about things related to Enough Records. Not just the history of it, but also the high points, the low points, the funny points, things that would make it for a more interesting read than just a list of all our releases and what genre they were. So yeah, I've been working on that. I have a base structure out of that. I was trying to reach out to a person to help me with that. They didn't reply to Facebook, but I still have the idea in my head and I still want to push it. I'm trying to clear out a few other things so I can focus on this. Actually, was one of my points was try to put August focused into doing this book. Haven't had time to do that yet. I've been overflown with Demoscene stuff to be able to pay attention to writing this book. But yeah, this is something I want to do to be able to release on the 25 years, which will be in 2025. So I still have a few months to push it out, and it doesn't need to come out in the beginning of 2025, but that's my aim. Plan early so it comes in a timely release. So yeah, I've been working on that. I have sort of a first draft, but it needs to be remodeled and rethinkered. And one of the main points I want to make sure that I nail is that it's not boring as hell to read, because a lot of the times when you read about the history of something is boring like hell. And I want it from a narrative perspective for it to be clear what we did, why we did what we did, but also be interesting or funny or, interesting in some way. And I'm a writer, but I'm not a very experienced writer, so I'm not sure if I can pull it off. So I have doubts about that. But the only way to do it is to just do it and then see what's wrong and then try to fix it. So I have to just sit down, try to write it, throw some text, edit, and then cut the parts that don't make sense, rewrite the parts that don't make sense. So yeah, have to do that. Just sit down and do that. Yeah. So these are the two main things that I focus on. Demoscene stuff, and my Netlabel enough records. These are the two main things that I always try to focus on when I wake up every day. Then I have a few other things that I do on my spare time. I see some TV series sometimes. I've been watching the second season of Foundation because I really liked Foundation from Isaac Asimov, and they did this adaptation, slightly different from the books, but it's still interesting. So I've been watching the second season of that as well because I had already watched the first one, and I've been watching this new series called Person of Interest, which is very in line with the right to privacy sort of things that I am also interested on, as you noticed from the book that I wrote about that. So yeah, I've been watching those two. Been watching a few others with Christina as well, but these were the main ones that I've been watching by myself for self-interest reasons. Some video games as well. I've been playing a few video games. I've been playing a lot of video games with my kid because he can play video games now. So I've been playing a lot of Lego Batman with him, which is actually kind of addicting. But I caught a few other games as well. Sunless Skies was out on Epic Games, and I tried to play that because I had already played Sunless Sea, which was good. Had this Lovecraftian vibe to it. And I always been aiming at playing Sunless Skies, so once I saw it out, I went to play it as well. It's pretty much copy-paste of Sunless Sea. Also in the parts that were bad about Sunless Sea, which is mostly, once you're done exploring all of the things, playing very carefully not to die, doing all the different trade routes that you find, doing all the missions that you can, advancing all the few different people, then you run into a random enemy and you get greedy and you think you can take him on and you just get overwhelmed and you die and you lose all of the things and you keep a little bit of them, but you have to do all of the missions all over from scratch. Some parts of the world evolve on Sunless Skies, but some parts, like the trading missions, starts from scratch, and you have to do those if you want to have enough money to be able to get a better vessel and better things to be able to do deeper investigation. So once you die, you have to do like 1-2 hour grind, just redoing things that you already did before, playing very safely so you don't die again. And just ruin your chances even more, and it's just boring. And in hindsight, I think there is a setting for that now, like a difficulty setting where instead of having a permadeath, you actually continue where you left off. But when I first started the game, I wanted to be true to its original essence. And I thought, maybe they balanced it a bit more this time. It's not as brutal as Sunless Sea was. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, I turned that off because I thought it would be cheating if I did it the other way. I wouldn't play as safe as I was supposed to. So yeah, I ended up uninstalling it because I don't have patience for that. In hindsight, maybe I should reinstall it and play it with safety net. Even if you die, you just continue where you left off instead of having to do everything as you were a new character, and keep exploring the world, because that's what's most interesting about the game, is exploring the world and doing the little missions. And if you have to redo the missions always from scratch, if it was like a game like Binding of the Isaac that takes 1-2 hours to finish completely, then it would be fine. But these kind of missions, they take a long time to fulfill. So not as fun. Anyways, been playing that, or I played that, I already uninstalled it, tried to cut back on time wasters. Played a little bit of N++. I got a few pings to do an update to the N++ assistant, which is the tool that I did to help with community mods being installed on the game. There were a few things broken there, some spreadsheets who had some broken links because Discord changed some things. Luckily, we had backups on GitHub, and I was catching up to date with the things that were missing with those backups and adding a few more functionality. Ended up not having much time because I was busy with other stuff, but I did a small update on that and took the time to play a few more games again on N++ and do a few more challenges. Slowly grinding to 100% completion, which I probably will never get, but it's good that I can still do some progress in it, like finish some levels that I wasn't able to finish, a few months ago. I tried all of the things by now. I tried them all and it was too hard and I gave up on that and tried another level again. So I played all of them already and I gave up on them. So now I go back to them and see, okay, this one was really hard, but maybe if I try again for like a whole hour, maybe I can actually do it. So I did a few of those and actually managed to pull a few of them off. Some of them were like levels that I said, I'm never gonna try this. This is just crazy hard and not worth my time. So yeah, masochism, OCD, I don't know what it is, but I do keep going back to N++ and trying to do a few more of those challenges now and again. Anyways, that's it for this video. Sorry for the lengthy rambles, but it is what it is. Hope you found it interesting to know a bit more what I've been working on, my thought process behind the things that I do. If you have any ideas, any suggestions for things that I should cover and do, one of the things that I haven't been doing as much and I should do if I cared about money would be to do more how-to videos about doing technical stuff. Those are the videos that actually get monetized on YouTube and give me like, I don't know, 15, 16, 18 euros per month. And I stopped doing them. Like the last one that I did was like some months ago, and it was something that I just threw together just for the sake of still doing them. So I need to have a more sit down, brainstorm on things that are actually hard to do and they are not properly documented on the internet, and that I could do and give an added value to the overall community. But it needs to be something that people would actually be going to YouTube and search in large numbers. Otherwise, it would never give me any revenue out of it. So yeah, if you have any ideas for videos like that, let me know. As long as there's like not 6, 8 of them in the very good quality of it on YouTube, then it's usually worth doing. So yeah, that's it for this video. See you next time. Bye bye everybody. Have a great day.